What's good, Rick and here with another episode of The Mortal Intern. And on last week's video, we talked about some of the pros of working in management consulting. Today, I want to turn the table and talk about some of the cons. But first, let's jump to the intro. The number one con, in my opinion, is the long hours. Unlike other corporate jobs where you can clock in at 9 a.m. and leave by 5 p.m., consulting does demand a lot more of you. To put it simply, you're working between 55 and 75 hours on an average week. This is in part due to the fact that you have small teams and tight deadlines. There's a lot to get done and not a lot of time to do it, especially on travel days. You might be up at 4 or 5 in the morning and be working until 7 p.m. that night. It's just a long day, and that's something to think about if you really like to have your downtime and decompress. Obviously, the flip side to that is that you get compensated pretty well and you get a decent amount of PTO. So if you're okay with working hard and then taking time and playing hard, it's the perfect fit for you. It's just something to think about as you're approaching consulting. The second big con, in my opinion, is that you're always on. During the week, from Monday through Thursday, you're pretty much always on call. Even after you leave the office, you're probably going to be going to some team dinners and client dinners. On Fridays, you might be doing some more networking events. So there's a lot of events that go into play outside of your typical office time. So even if you're not at your laptop, there's a lot of time that you put into work. This kind of falls into the same category as long hours, but it's just something to think about. If you have a lot of hobbies or interests outside of work, you might not always be able to shut down. Especially in consulting, you'll be carrying a second phone and a laptop with you. So you're pretty much expected to be on the call and be ready to work anytime throughout the week. There's days when, if you have a tight deadline coming up, you'll be working after dinner. That's just something to think about as you venture into consulting. The last con in my book is the travel. Now, travel is also a big perk and a big pro of working in consulting, but can also be draining. When you wake up early on a Monday morning and get home late on a Thursday night, it gets tiring after a while. It starts wearing on your body. On top of that, you're sleeping in a different bed every few nights, so it starts to wear on you over time. If you're someone who enjoys home-cooked meals or cooking, you might not be able to do that. And if you've got a friend's birthday on a Tuesday night, you might not be able to make it, whereas in a typical job, you would be able to. Obviously, travel comes with its perks. It's great being able to travel the country and see different cities. On top of that, you get to use your weekends and all travel to different places you otherwise wouldn't be able to go to. So travel does have its benefits and it does have its downsides. It's just something to think about if you're getting into consulting. So there you have it, my take on some of the cons about management consulting. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll address them in the next few videos. If you enjoyed that video, please go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of The Mortal Intern.